Hello and welcome to some VOD reviews for the most recent weekend. We obviously just finished the qualifiers. We're going to break down the 4 teams that play their most recent matches to qualify for this Hawaii event. Everyone say hello to YouTube. YouTube say hi back, otherwise I will ban you. So we're going to start with the Seoul Dynasty versus the Chengdu Hunters because this is what chat wanted. So if you didn't like that we chose this one first, then you can just yell at chat. That's fine. So yeah, let's get into it. The Chengdu Hunters did Chengdu things. The Seoul Dynasty they've been looking pretty good, not great. They haven't really been able to get their footing throughout the entirety of this season. They had a good melee, but have then since been pretty amiss. But the Chengdu Hunters, same thing. Most notably, Elsa has retired, which was kind of unfortunate because I think he was playing the best Overwatch of his career. But hey, you know, when life calls and sometimes you're burnt out, he's out. So that means we've had Late Young come in. I haven't really watched a lot of Late Young, so we'll break that down as we go. But the most important thing is that Leave and Jinmu do a whole lot of fucking. So we're gonna break that down and we're just gonna start watching. I don't think I've watched this game at all. There wasn't enough time in the morning, so I haven't seen this at all. So we're gonna break this down. Why they've been putting in Yveltal in more? I don't really know. They seem to really like Yveltal in the lineup. I don't know if he's a good caller, all that kind of stuff. I think Nisha's great, but I also think Yveltal's great. So there is some weird stuff going on with the Hunters. I don't really love it. Like, they're always like switching between Aemon and Gaga. They now have Late Young in the lineup. Then they play like Monk, and 1987 comes into play. Zen from time to time. Yveltal and Nisha are coming all over the place. Sometimes they like to play Jimmy, which we don't need to talk about that because you know how I feel about Jimmy. Well, on the other hand, Seoul Dynasty just play their same 6-man roster from time all the time, and I actually like that more.
Five, four.
The trees in the platform look like a penis.
1.
The trees look like a penis? Bro, if this is what your penis looks like, you should get that checked out.
Round 1. Capture the objective.
Alright, let's go. Let's get started. Oh, the trees. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Alright, let's get into this. There we are. Alright, so we're gonna have the Soul playing the Ash, while the Chengdu Hunters play the the Sombra Tracer. I think I prefer the Sombra in these compositions. I understand why they're playing Fitz on the Ash. Like, obviously, it's a lot of damage. It's there's a lot you can do from this high ground. I feel like the Sombra is just better for the hack onto the Wrecking Ball. The EMP is a bigger ultimate. You're kind of like hoping that Fitz just absolutely pounds and does a ton of damage. Now I can't unsee it. My bad, guys. Does Fitz ever miss? Does Monk ever miss? Oh! Actually murdered. So they give up the first point. Jinmu gets slammed and dies, but Chengdu should have control here as long as they keep their Zen alive. Yveltal's doing a great job. Like, you can see how the Brig plays the game, right? It's legitimately protect the president. The Brig's job is to just run around, follow the Zen to wherever the Zen wants to go. And yeah, they're gonna get it first. Right, so Fitz goes over to the McCree. Let's see if he's going to get more value on the McCree. It's interesting that he doesn't want to play Sombra. I feel like Sombra's so good against his composition. Like, I know it ends you in the mirror, but I feel like you just play at a disadvantage if you play the McCree instead of the Sombra. Like, obviously, it's an advantage in a different direction, but... with Zen Brig, who does the healing? The Brig, for the most part. But the way it works as well is that the reason you don't play Zen Brig with, like, a Winston or anything like that is because you have low healing, right? But Tracer, Sombra, and Wrecking Ball are all very self-sustainable, right? They don't really take a lot of damage, and if they do, they use packs and stuff like that. So you don't need that much healing coming out from your Zen Brig, and that's why it actually works in this composition. Creative gets Monk, caught in the corner. That kind of felt a little too easy for the Seoul Dynasty. Just sort of like walking up, just take space. I guess, did Monk have his Transcendence? I don't know if he did. Sombra is basic, yeah, like, so if you get this mega health pack hacked, right? Like, your Wrecking Ball can literally just cycle around it over and over and over and over again, right? So that's 250 health every, like, what? 4 seconds? 3 seconds? I don't know how long it takes to reset with a hack on it, but it's just so much healing, right? It's probably more healing than either of your supports can put out, so. Let's watch them leave, do some fucking. Is it 250? Yeah, it's 250. Mega pack is 250. Right? Yeah. So they force out Creative's Transcendence pretty early, but Fitz gets a pick. Yeah, Lee's gonna need to go sicko mode to win this. I think if they can get a good execute on... Oh. Yo, Fitz kind of be pounded right now. EMP hits a lot, actually. That was a really good EMP by Jinmu. Fitz is kind of getting bopped here. Good play by the Hunters. Fitz is getting good picks, but that EMP by Jinmu was very, very good. Turns that fight around, and that's the value of the Sombra, right? You can see the difference in how these two compositions play out. With the McCree, Solo playing a more defensive style, trying to get a ton of damage, get a ton of picks, and kind of counter dive it. Well, the value of the Sombra is getting those individual hacks, but also the big value of an EMP. EMPs can easily just win you a fight off the bat. If you hit like 2 important targets, especially the Wrecking Ball, and you can just kill them for almost free, it's so valuable. 3.75 for a Mega, 2.5 seconds for a Mini with Sombra hack. Ah, interesting. Thank you. Jinmu was rolling marble, and that's the value of playing it, right? Let's go high. Let's get an overhead. So once again, Monk is playing very close. Like, I don't really like how close Monk is playing, especially if they're going to come down this alley. I'd prefer to see him, like, move this way. This is the second time Monk has played in this corner and just got instantly bopped. Obviously, he got stuck, but he was about to get dove anyway, regardless of the stick, and I don't... Maybe they were playing it away and they thought Monk was going to get the Transcendence, but because he doesn't get that Transcendence, it just, like... Feels like this is too easy for Seoul to execute these dives when they're actually playing a weaker dive. Maybe Chengdu's giving them too much space to get onto Monk. Do you want your hit scan players or the flex DPS players to be a Sombra specialist, like Lip or Dante type situation? Generally, your Sombra players, you actually want both to be able to play Sombra. But generally, you want your flex DPS players to play the Sombra because your hit scan player plays the Tracer, right? In a perfect world, right? Like, let's use the Chengdu Hunters, right? Leave is the flex DPS, is like the hit scan DPS player on this, like, in this setup. So he plays the Tracer. And Jinmu is the flex DPS, so he plays the Sombra. So you can play the Sombra Tracer. But there are times when you need to play, like, hit scan Sombra. So you want your, like, Genji Sombra or something like that, right? So it's nice if everyone can play it, but there's a little bit of flexibility you need from all your players. Pretty sure most teams have flex DPS players on Tracer. It really depends on the team. Honestly, it goes very back and forth. Yeah, like, I think it's not really like a standardized things. Florida, Shanghai Glads, yeah. I'll put it this way. Flex DPS players that can play Tracer are incredibly valuable, right? That's like your Prophets, your Yakis, your Dantes. That is why they are so valuable, because it allows your counterpart, generally the hit scan player, to be able to play the hit scan. So they can play the Tracer, they can play the Sombra, all that kind of stuff. So, but like, yeah, like Striker is a great example of someone who's a hit scan player, not a flex DPS player that plays the Tracer. It's not really like it's one way or the other. Every player has a different hero pool, and every team has a different hero pool. So the Hunters get the mines down to flip the team. Monk has the trans... I love that his balls are just on the ground. That's all there is left of him. Monk goes down with Transcendence, which is a bit of a misplay by the Hunters. Yeah, that's kind of on Monk. I think Monk did not play very well in this first round. First death, I think 3 out of the 4 team fights that they lost or something like that. So he had some good shots, but he needs to stay alive. And that could be on the rest of the team. Like, it felt like Hunters were playing quite slow. Go on, reduce the balls. I'm gonna watch individual. I think watching individual people in this Wrecking Ball meta, I actually don't like doing an overhead view. I'd rather watch someone who is part of the dive because I think it's just easier to track what's going on. Because the overhead, there's just too much going on. Individual is more interesting. I like doing overhead and like brawl and double shield where you can see the whole field, but I think there's just too much going on with these dives. So I might be doing a lot more individual views in these reviews because of just the dives. Oh, that was almost a really nice one clip. So once again, they're playing the hit scan in comparison. Why did Chengdu's dive not work here? I kind of want to work out what goes wrong here because they're like, if they're going against the Ashe, they should have a strong dive. Did Amon get... what happened to Amon? Ah, there it is. I was trying to work out why this was such a weak dive. And it's because Amon gets rocked on the engage. There you go. That'll do it. Oh! Whew! Okay to you. I see you. Lead carries Chengdu 100%. 100%. Why have they been playing Among over Gaga on the ball? I feel like when they are 100% sure they want to play the Wrecking Ball, they play Among. But if they're ever going to play like a Winston or a Ryan, they play Gaga. I don't really like how much Hunters move their players around. But hey, I'm always like that. I prefer to have a good, really solid 6-man roster, 7-man roster, compared to having like a bunch of specialists. Ugh. Among's getting kind of bopped right now. But they did get the backline of the Seoul Dynasty. That's such a big bob. That's a problem. Oh, nice boop from Yveltal getting the bob off the point. Because the bob was so good because it's... Oh! I don't know if I like him using his movement ability to get there. Oh! He has it. Oh, no! Does he see Jinmu? He heard the footsteps. Yeah, he hears the footsteps. Oh, he sees a little bit of the glow. Okay. Fucking Fitz, man, dude. I think if Flip wasn't playing so well this season, I would say Fitz Prophet is the best DPS duo in the world. Which kind of makes you worried about the rest of the Seoul Dynasty, right? Because Fitz Prophet is so good, right? They're flexible, they can do everything. So impressive. But Seoul isn't good. Like, how does this happen?
Into the ass.
I was iffy about your opinion on subbing in people for different roles, but after watching the Glads, it just makes no sense to have skewed in. They play better with Moth, and as good as Moth is, it's unreasonable to think his Brig can't be coached up.
And I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind, right? When you're talking about the way it works, right? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I want to use the Washington Justice as an example, right? Let's use that as the example because they started putting Tuba in, a flex DPS player, to play the Brig because he can specialize in the Brig, right? That's what they want to do. That's what they said in their post-game interview. Is it really that valuable to switch out your main support? Because the main support is such an important, crucial calling factor to have that. Let's say Tuba is 10 to 15%, 20% better than closer on the Brig. But my problem with having Tuba play that Brig is it removes the flexibility of all of a sudden Tuba can't play Lucio if they need to switch, can't play the Mercy. wouldn't it be better just investing more time and resources into making Closer's Brig better? I think so. And then that gives you that consistency in your roster. I don't love this specialization because I think historically that's never really worked for a lot of these teams. Can anyone, let's do a thought exercise. Hey, can anyone think of a time in which having a specialist player on a certain role has helped the team be incredibly successful? Sinatra's Eye, that's different. Maybe Super Ryan is it. Arns is a hit scan player, right? Like he's not a specialist, right? He's a hit scan player, right? They have a triple DPS where Arns is the hit scans player. That's not really a specialist. I'm more talking about the situations of like Jake coming in and play Brig, Skewed coming in to play the Brig. Those kind of things, right? Yeah, maybe Ding Pharah. But even then, that's kind of a different thing because he's a specialist in a very niche role, right? He's not a specialist in a very common thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of interesting. Chips are on Philly, yeah, like, but they're like really weird specialists. I'm more talking about like it's a common role, right? Like, or like they come in to play the Brig. I think Super Ryan is the best example of it working, right? Where Smurf plays the Winston thing, and Smurf could play Reinhardt quite well, but bringing in Super to just play that Reinhardt is probably the best example of it being successful. The Skewed Brig is one, right? But also, do you think Skewed Brig is successful? He is good at Brig, but the Gladiators haven't been successful around that. Would the Gladiators have been more successful if they just committed to the Moth Brig, keep his calling structure in there, keep his consistency in there with the lineup? Would that have helped them in the long run? Obviously, we don't have any idea of if, like, there's no answer, right? This is just a hypothetical. But yeah, I don't know. Violet McCree, but that was unsuccessful, right? And here's the thing, Shaxx Tracer. Well, Shaxx is also, like, that's not a specialist, right? He comes in to play the Tracer. Like, no one else plays the Tracer on this team. That's the difference between a specialist, right? A specialist is, other people can play it on this team, but I play it this much better, so they will sub me in just for this role. That's sort of what I mean, right? So Striker, yes, but DPS is kind of a weird one. I think when I mainly complain and criticize this style of what I'm talking about is generally in like main support and main tank. Because you generally have one consistent player for those roles. Like the main support plays the Mercy, the Brig, and the Lucio, right? And the main tank plays all the main tanks, whichever they need to play. And they are generally very integral to the team in the communication structure and how they move around, right? Every time someone has been, the main tank has been removed and someone else has been put in that spot to play this one thing, it generally has varied success. Twilight Anna, maybe? Yeah, Twilight Anna is quite good, right? I think that's another one. Marvel Sigma, yeah, and I actually, that's a great one, right? I actually think Marvel Sigma is a really good example as well, right? Because I think it shows you the benefits, but also the negatives of playing Marvel on that Sigma, right? So Marvel came in to play the off-tank just because Sigma was so meta, right? And that was really good, and they had success when he just had to play Sigma, but as soon as all of a sudden, Marvel had to start playing Diva, Marvel had to start playing other things, that is where it started falling apart because he didn't have that flexibility. And now they're like, oh, well, do we play Michelle? And they're like, well, we have a good thing going with Marvel, so let's just play Marvel, right? It has, I think it's good in the short term. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I think it's good in the short term, bad in the long term. I think maybe is what I don't like about it because eventually, I think they come to this crossroads where they're like, well, they don't have the flexibility to play these other compositions. So, I don't know. It's a really interesting discussion because I think I can see it from other people's perspective, a lot of these coaches' perspectives of the way they think about it, right? Of like, let's put Skewed on Brig because he's so good at it. He's number one in IBM Watson. He is very good at Brig. But would it have been better to just have Moth permanently in the lineup? Maybe. Would the Chengdu Hunters be better off if they always played Gaga instead of just having Amon come in to play the Wrecking Ball on certain maps? I don't know. Rascal Bap doesn't count because you guys are talking about goats. Goats, everything's... What I'm talking about is out the window because goats, there was no flexibility in goats. You played, for the most part, the same 6 heroes. So there's not... You just played whoever was the best in that role and it didn't matter because you didn't ever need to flex. But think about how much flexibility and meta changes there are in this season. Having one person come in and take someone else's role just for a specific hero can create long-term issues. That's why Dallas is so good. They have the same 6 every time. Same thing can be said for the Shanghai Dragons. They pretty much always play the same 6 players. And I really personally believe that if you play the same 6, probably 7 players, because not everyone has that flexibility in their DPS. You play the same 7 players with 3 DPS. I think that is your best path to success. You have a hitscan DPS, a tracer player, and you have a flex DPS who can play all 3 DPS roles, and then you just have a consistent main tank, consistent off tank, consistent main support, consistent flex support. If you can have those 7 players, I think that is by far the strongest way that you can build a team to have long-term success. Like Atlanta. It's funny, you say, like, it's not just like Atlanta, right? It's like Dallas Fuel, like the Shanghai Dragons, like Atlanta Reign, like the Houston Outlaws as of late, right? There's a kind of a common theme, like the Seoul Dynasty. Like, there's a common theme there of generally the teams that do that are the most successful. And I think the San Francisco Shock would have been much better this season if they just played, if they just had Striker play the Tracer, Nero play the Flex DPS, and have Glister play the hit scan. And then they just had Smurf in. Yeah, I guess they can put Super in as the Ryan specialist when they want it. Play Troy, play Violet, play FD God. And if they just did that, I think they might have been more successful. Obviously, I'm looking in hindsight, and they've made it work historically. But I think the amount of changes that they've made has made it really hard for them to hit their footing because they have talent. They just haven't been able to string it together, right? So, we'll see. Even Pyrus is popping off? Yeah, like, and that's it. I think there's a lot to be said, but that's just me. As I said, you guys can agree, you guys can disagree. Obviously, these are great players, these are great teams, these are great coaches, and they all have their own opinions. But yeah, that's kind of it's kind of how I feel about the grand scheme of like these subs. Thank you very much, Light Arc, for the $5 that sparked this conversation. Sorry, that was a massive tangent, but I hope you guys learned something, or that was a cool thought experiment, and I hope you guys thought that was interesting as well. Bacon a Torn, My Valentina, and Nacho Man 3030. Hell yeah, I love your name. Thank you very much for the Prime subs. Team on the same page, right? Doesn't subbing a specialist make it too predictable what you're going to play on the map, next map? Yes, but I also think your calling structure has to change every time you put a new player in, right? And that is what I think the biggest issue is. When you play with the same 5 players every time, you understand how your team is going to communicate, and you understand how they are going to react or play the game, right? If you keep playing with a new player or a different player from map to map to map to map to map, I think it gets a lot harder to keep that consistency within your lineup and your roster to keep consistently playing the same way because you're adding new variables every time. What about Decay Zaya? The Washington Justice, when Decay came into the Washington Justice to play Zaya, the team sucked anyway. They had nothing to lose, and as I said, it works. Having a player come in as a specialist works in the short term, right? Because Decay Zaya was great, and it carried the Washington Justice through those playoffs, but if, let's say, they had to play that for longer, all of a sudden, Decay doesn't play Zaya, he has to play Reinhardt or Winston. Obviously, there's the issue, right? If they had to put Raw back in, put Decay on DPS, I think they would have been way weaker, and that's why that doesn't really fit within what we're talking about. Helps with scrimming too. It helps with scrimming because all your players get the maximum amount of practice time. If you have only 6 or 7 players playing it every time, you don't need to spread your scrim time thin with all of your players by having different players play a certain amount of time. Mickey Brigg and Seagull Diva, great examples of short-term solutions, but neither of those things worked in the long term, right? Mickey Brigg in season 1, it was good for stage 4, but they eventually got caught and found out, and then all of a sudden Mickey is playing support, right? And that's not great. Seagull Diva was really good, but he only really played it for a short amount of time, right? Well, he played it for a couple of seasons, a couple of stages. It was good. But let's say all of a sudden Seagull had to start like playing all the other off tanks. I think he could have done it because at that point, Seagull wasn't really a DPS player anymore. He just hard committed to being an off tank, and he was a really smart guy. He could learn a lot of heroes fast, like he did with Diva. So maybe it would have worked in the long time, but yeah, obviously he did it. All right, let's get back into this review. Let's start talking about this stuff. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you guys didn't just like, what the fuck is this review? Great dive by Among and Leave. Seoul seemed very disjointed there with that rally. Oh yeah, we're watching a match, yeah. Leave is just playing for free. Oh wow, he almost got right clicked on the way out of that. Do the Hunters ever not play Leave? The Hunters always play Leave, and the day that they don't play Leave is the day that I lose faith in the coaching staff of the Chengdu Hunters. I give them a lot of free passes, but if they ever sub Leave out, he's so good, and he plays everything. There is legitimately no reason to ever bench Leave. It's like, when would you ever bench Prophet? It's like, it's not a question of when, it's a question of why would you ever do it. Nice eat by To You's having a good game so far right now. Alright, Fitz should be pretty free with this Bob. Let's see what he does. Dude, A-Monk's kind of pounded. Oh, he missed the dynamite. That's kind of unfortunate. Oh, Monk just put Prophet in the ground. Okay, Chengdu. Why was Leave not that good last season? It goes same thing that I was talking about at the start of the stream. You can only be as good as the team that you play on. Chengdu sucked last year. Other than when they were playing these like super niche comps. Chengdu has filled out their roster very, very well. And they're still better when they play these niche comps, but they're a lot better than they were last season. This is map 5? No, this is map 1. People always forget how bad Chengdu used to be, yeah. Who's better, Late Young or Elsa? I think Elsa was having a really good season. He actually impressed me a lot, because I really didn't like Elsa or Late Young coming into the season. I'm still undetermined on Late Young so far. Because we haven't seen him play that much. What's the impact of losing Elsa? Only time will really tell, right? Is Late Young going to be able to pick up the reins? Dude, Among's fucking just owning right now. Just in the background. So Jinmu EMPs only hits the brig. I think Creative gets this. Let's have a look at this from your Creative's perspective first. Actually, let's watch it from Jinmu. See how this EMP goes off. Oh, he wanted to get far enough away from the brig that he couldn't get bashed, but he actually got it out of the range of Creative. So Creative gets the Transcendence off. Sorry, what? How did Creative just die? He gets bonked. Oh, that's so unlucky. That is so unlucky. Good stick. Yeah, this should just be it for... Oh, nice Transcendence by Monk. This should just be it for them. Got the lure of the mines, Custa. Hey, honestly, I feel the same way sometimes.
Ready for battle.
Having the, this is the same roster as last season? Yes and no, right? You say it is the same roster, but I think that the additions of a couple of other players, new coaching staff, and all that kind of stuff, as much as this is the composition that they're playing right now, like, Hunters were always good at the Wrecking Ball compositions, right? I think Monk's a great thing, and I think Yveltal being able to play the Brig, like, I think this is a good meta, even for last season's team. The reason the Hunters are better overall this season is because they have Gaga in that main tank. I think he's been playing quite well. They have Jimmy on the hit scan, who, like, adds that extra little layer of flexibility so that Leave isn't always forced to play the hit scan. You know, Nisha brings in that new element. Like, as much as it isn't drastically different, those little extra additions give them that extra flexibility.
1. Round 3. Capture the objective.
His Zyra is good and his Diva is heavily underrated. He's 100% capable of starting on a roster. Yeah, and I guess that's that's what he has to prove to everyone, right? All right, let's see how Lee plays against this, because this comp is essentially built to ruin his day. Who was the Chengdu flex support last year again? Who was the Chengdu flex support last year? Molly, that's right. Molly was sick. Molly was, like, by far one of the best players. I'm kind of sad he went to the Dragons. Like, it's one of those players who's like, oh, I can be a part of one of the best teams. It's like, yeah, but you're not going to play over Isiaki. Played one map against the Spark, yeah, but like that's not really playing, right? That's like a pity pick. That's like a pity map. He's not gonna play a match where they really need him to perform. Alright, big stick. Leave built different. Molly to charge? Yeah, Molly would be cool to charge. But my boy Karib? Is that your crosshair? What is it? Yeah, it's my crosshair. Alright, let's see what Among does with these mines. So they step out with the window and then they just walk past it. Rally, high noon. Yeah, that was pretty well done. That was good timing with the mines. Mail's quite good. Monk with a great timing on the Transcendence. Should just be able to slow them. Oh, great EMP as well. That should just be it. That was really well played by the Hunters. Like, they let them out. They get value with the mines, force out the rally. As soon as the rally comes out, they like sort of disengage a little bit. They keep holding the ground, and then as soon as Seoul uses their abilities to get forward, they Transcendence, they group up, and they use the EMP. Every time you see Leave kill a lot of people, remember, what is this? Okay, Leave, seriously, yeah. This is World Cup, right? This is 2018 World Cup when, like, Leave... That was, like, the first time we ever really got to see Leave. Like, that was like, Leave, everyone's like, okay. Okay, Leave, we see you. Why is Gesture not playing recently? Gesture's more the Rhine player for the team. He doesn't really play anything else. He's the Winston Roadhog player for the team. Great rally. Just playing so smart. It's making it so hard for Seoul to just do anything. Like, they're trying to play this slow counter divery style, but Hunters just have too many ults to really, like, force the agenda of what they need to do, to the point that Seoul just can't come out of the point. Jimmy's gonna get another EMP as well. Can Hunters beat Dragons? I don't think so. Because Hunters are going to try and beat Dragons at their own game. And I think Dragons are just better. Yo, what's up, Patrick? Yeah, wait. Wait. Why didn't he do it on this side? Like, I understand, like... Yeah, I don't know why he did it on that side. Diva Bomb. Oh, great pull into the Diva Bomb as well. Alright, time to get out of this fight, Chengdu. Worried about the bash? Yeah, but... Like, he did the same thing on, Shrine. Where he was so afraid of the bash that he, like, was too far away from the Zen on the EMP, so he just didn't EMP anyone. So his EMPs haven't been great. Other than that one that happened before, but... It's a pity EMP to prolong the game. What a nice guy. That on Nepal? No, it's called Shrine, isn't it? I'm pretty sure there's a shrine on Busan. Well, is it called... Is it not called Shrine? It's called... Sanctuary. Right. How does Fitz die? Does he get hacked? Oh, nice hack by Leaf. Oh, sorry, by Jinmu. Fucking yeet! Leong ain't afraid of to you. To you, like, what is... This is just disrespectful. This is... Oh, he sees the Diva fly away with the Matrix. He's like, fuck it. That's a great grab. That's a dangerous grab, but it was a great grab. It didn't really have a whole lot of follow-up, but... I think it sort of forced the agenda. That's a lot of splooge. Get him, Prophet. Oh, oh. Monk wins that. Fitz get the... Oh, there's no way Sol wins this, right? No way! That was kind of a dropping of the ball by Hunters. I feel like they should have closed that out. The turret hard carry, yeah. They like the turret's just like free shooting the whole time. Okay, rally engage. They're just gonna force the fight. How does Marvel die? Oh, he gets hacked. Hacks by Jinmu have been really good. Alright, he hits 3. Not bad. Good transcendence. Yeah, okay. This should just be Chengdu taking it. Any chance? I think there's definitely a chance that Chengdu beats Atlanta or Dallas. Here's why. I actually think this Wrecking Ball Tracer Sombra composition is really good, right? And I think it's better than a lot of what the West is playing right now. And I think Chengdu plays it quite well. I think it's their thing. But also, they have the Pharah niche that I think could catch Atlanta or Dallas off guard. Do I think that Chengdu's going to come like 2nd or 3rd? Probably not. But can they beat either of those teams in a match? I think so. In a bit... Hello? There's no way. What is that lamp by Creative, first of all? But hey, it worked. There is... What? What? What happened? What happened? How did they... What did they... How did they... What... What... What? 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 Okay. So... They hack Marvel, they EMP. 6v5, 6v4. 5v4, 5v3. 5v2. 5v1, 5v2-ish. How does Fitzkill leave? Okay. Now there's a bit of moist splooge all over it. Prophet trades the mech for his life. Among's low. Also goes down. The Torb actually owned.
Routing power to forward shield. Defense matrix activated. Wait, you need to time out.
I honestly think it just goes back to Leave winning. I honestly think it just goes back to Fitz one clipping Leave. Like, if Fitz doesn't one clip Leave, like, they just clean up so easily. That's insanity.
Victory.
Look at Lei Young. What did Lei Young do? Kind of lucky. Oh yeah. Wait, Lei Young. He did fine. I don't think he did. Like, he definitely got murdered by that, the Torbolt, but he can't really do much to stop that. Why is this comp the best one? The Wrecking Ball one has the highest ceiling of performance. The Wrecking Ball Sombra Tracer Zen Brig is actually quite hard to deal with, especially with the style that the Western region likes to play. Like, the Reinhardt compositions, it can beat the Wrecking Ball compositions, but it's hard, right? Because you need to get on the backline. You have to crush the Brig Zen, right? And we saw it actually in the Washington game, Washington-Dallas Fuel. Dallas Fuel couldn't get on top of it. Even Dallas Fuel tried to play the Winston on Route 66 against Washington playing the ball comp, and they couldn't get to the Briggs End. If there's a defensible spot, it gets really hard to get value. And if you play it at just the highest level, I think it's better than every other composition that exists, right? And Shanghai is playing it at the highest level. What if you play Roadhog? No, it's not going to work. Play Ryan Winston. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I think the best counter to it, I actually don't even know. A part of me think it's like Winston, Diva, Brig, Anna, Sombra, Tracer. Maybe you can make it work. Orisa comp on some maps, maybe you can get away with the Orisa comp. But the biggest issue that you have when you play a risk comp is that you're playing as a 6-man unit, right? Which enables the Wrecking Ball can get a ton of value. The Wrecking Ball can get a ton of value. The Sombra can just get EMP so fast. So maybe if you play like a Torb Sombra, double shield, it's defensive enough against the Sombra. But as I said, like, there's no very obvious solution. Ryan TP. The problem with the Ryan TP is that you never want to stop. If you can't get onto the backline, the Wrecking Ball is just going to slam you. The Sombra is going to shoot you in the back as you travel, and it's so hard to get there without dying. And as soon as ultimates start coming into the equation, it gets really hard. So, Lucio Moira Rush is another one that could work. If you just play so fast tempo that the Wrecking Ball doesn't work, but I don't know, Shanghai Dragons have shown that they can do that they did that against the Dallas Fuel in the June Joust, right? And that was without a Sombra being in the lineup. So the reason I'm worried for everyone against the Shanghai Dragons is everything that I'm thinking about is just speculation. And I haven't seen anyone play a composition against the Wrecking Ball Zen that has made me look at it and be like, that is just better. Like, that might just be better. And especially with how well Shanghai's playing it, it does worry me for these teams. Team do you think is the weakest of the four? Chengdu Hunters.
Ready for battle.
Alright, so we're going to see Gaga come in, and that's it. Nothing changes for the Seoul Dynasty, though.
Ready for battle. 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
I'll answer you real quick, the Northern Ranger, before we get into this. Do you think Boston was outclassed, or do you think they fell apart against Gladiators? I think Boston massively overperformed against Houston. I don't think Houston was ready for it, and I think that they played individually so well, and they were never able to replicate that. Every other team played better than Houston, against their composition, and I just don't think any of their players played any very well at all. You go back and look at the statistics of that team from that match, they were incredible. They really were, but I don't think they could consistently do that. And I also agree that Houston dropped the ball a little bit. So we're going to see Chengdu play the Winston, Zaya, Ana, Mercy, Echo, Sombra, okay? And I don't hate this composition. I think it could make work. Gaga goes a little too aggressive here. Yeah, that was a little aggressive by Gaga, trying to... He made that jump and he didn't have any way to disengage. So Seoul playing really smart with the Brig Ana, just sort of playing to their win condition. They also know that they don't need to do too much, right? If you're the Seoul Dynasty, you don't want to chase these guys into this small room, I wouldn't say. I think you want to enable your Widow to be able to get things. I think they should just go to point. I would prefer to see their team go to point here. Yeah, here we go. They're going to go to point, have the Widow play it far away, and then go to... Oh, no. They're too low here. Did they... Where's Creative? Oh, no. Creative's in here. I was like, where did Creative go? Yeah, no, the Winston. Oh, Prophet goes down, though. Yeah, I think they dilly-dallied a little too long. Oh, actually, let's get Monk Bolt. I think they were a little too slow on the rotate, you know what I mean? Like, they fought for this too much, and then Leave just did so much damage to them as they tried to ping. Monk gets this, and then let's look at this. Let's just look at this. He nanos the Winston. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Adaptive circuits engage.
Fucking delicious. Oh. That was actually insane by Monk. Great play. Yeah, Chengdu Hunters got way too many ults. Like, Seoul did a good job of creating space, but then I think they just played too slow. And I guess that is the weakness of playing the Widowmaker. Like, Fitz got ult, right? He's doing damage, but he just isn't getting enough high impact kills.
No one can hide from my sight.
Oh, nice shot. They gotta be careful. They're challenging Fitz. I think you push it this time, yeah. EMP into the rally isn't really gonna help them that much. Prophet gets caught again, though. And here's the weakness of playing the Widow, right? Is they can't... Hunters are doing a great job of understanding that this is the positioning they need to hold, right? They understand against the Widowmaker, if we just play here, like, they can't... The Widowmaker can't really get great sightlines. And that's making it really hard. Like, as much as Soul's getting great advantages, they're just not getting enough kills, right? Like, they're getting space, but then the Hunters are just walking into the small room and just taking over. So, I think Fitz should probably swap. I'd much prefer to see him on, like, a Tracer right now or something like that. Even like an Ashe or something that's just gonna have more consistent damage. Why don't they play point? Because if they played a point, like I said, if they just rush point, it can be better for them. The issue is Fitz is gonna die. Like, if they rush point, Fitz is gonna die because they're just gonna have the Echo Mercy push the Widow, and they're probably gonna just get absolutely bopped. Oh, Fitz hits Leave. How does this happen? Woo! Oh! Or you can just do that. That also works. Fitz is so good. Yeah, Fitz this. And those are the differences that some other hit scan Widowmaker players in the league that I won't talk about, he who should not be named. The thing that I respect the most about the best Widowmakers in the league is that they hit the easy shots, right? They put themselves in the position and they don't miss the easy shots. You don't need to go for these big flashy plays. You don't need to go for these big grapples, the big one-time moneymakers. You just need to hit the easy shots. Put yourself in a position to hit the easy shots and then hit them. And that's how you bust that shit wide open. Fitz didn't do anything impressive there. He just took an angle and just hit the 2 easy shots.
Objective lost. New defense point. Objective B.
I wouldn't say those were easy shots. They were pretty easy shots. Like these are shots that you need to hit. If he missed those shots, I would have been like, you need to hit those. Like those are the, if you're gonna get a free shot, like he even took like half a second to like stabilize against that echo. The Mercy one was definitely a lot harder, but the first shot on that echo, like he had tons of time to like line that up, right? I think Fitz definitely needs to swap now though, right? Like Widow just, I don't think there has ever been a time in the history of Overwatch League where Widow on second point attack has ever worked. At least not at a good point in the Overwatch League. Like, it just, you can't get enough consistent kills and you have to expose yourself way too much to get dove. Ever since people have been playing an aggressive defense, it just doesn't work. Because, like, this is a great angle, right? But he's so easy for him to get dove by anyone. I guess Prophet killing 2 to open it up is going to make this a lot easier for them.
Heroes never die.
Okay, Animo has the back so he can protect him. Good EMP by Jinmu. Hits the tanks, right? He knows that the only thing he needs to do is EMP the front line so that they can isolate. He doesn't need to hit the back line. He doesn't give a shit about these guys. All he needs to do is EMP the people in the front line because then they can't disengage, right? And get to their healers. And then that's what they do. They kill Marvel. D.Va gets into a bad spot. It's going to force a reset because all you have to do in 2CP and Temple of Anubis, because it's a really dumb game mode, is get 1 or 2 picks and you will be fine. So, wouldn't be surprised if Fitz switches here. Goes to like a Sombra himself. Goes to the Tracer, okay. I don't know how I feel about Fitz Tracer. Is Fitz Tracer good? I feel like we always just see Prophet play it. I assume it's good. Fitz is good at everything. But I don't assume it's decent, yeah. Like, we don't see it a lot. I assume it's fine, right? Definitely serviceable. Last game, hello? Did he play it in the last game? Oh yeah, well I guess he one clipped. There. That doesn't mean he's a good Tracer. I assume he's good at it, right? One clip leave, yeah. He dunked on leave that one time, like really long ago, like 20 minutes ago. Yeah, like I think it's good. I think it's fine. Like I like the switch if he's not as comfortable playing. He doesn't want to play the Sombra, which I don't really like the Sombra on attack here. I feel like you're just too dependent on the EMPs. I think it's good. Prophet number 1, yeah, and that's sort of what I'm saying is like we don't see Fitz Tracer as much because Prophet is usually the one playing it, but obviously Prophet's playing the Echo, so Fitz has to pick up the Tracer. And as I don't know, I'm not doubting Fitz Tracer. I assume it's very good as well. And I think a lot of teams have really started realizing that this is how you have to play against it, right? If you want to play the defensive dive, and this is what a lot of teams do, is you just play it very aggressive and you just go early. So that even if you want to trade 1-for-1, like trading Jinmu for Animo, that's a win for the Chengdu Hunters. Like that's fine for them because Animo's dead. Doesn't matter. So that's a 1-for-1, and that's how everyone plays this defense, right? And we'll see the Hunters do it time and time again. Wouldn't a Mei Reaper comp be strong here? The biggest issue with Mei Reaper comps and these brawl comps that people try and do an attack is exactly what I just said. The Hunters would just play a really aggressive dive. They wouldn't let them in this room. Jinmu would charge EMP. By the time that Dynasty get ultimates or they try and get value out of their Mei, they're just going to walk into an EMP. And if they lose a couple of people, they lose. It's too slow. It could definitely work. I just think it can also look really bad when you're doing it. So yeah, like, as I said, they're just going to play aggressive as they know all they need to do is play aggressive because even if they trade 1-for-1 or even if Jinmu just like randomly dies here or someone randomly dies, the Soul has to close so much distance to get to the point, but by the time that they get to the point, anyone who dies that far out is usually going to respawn around that time. So you're giving yourself, it's like a zero-sum game, right? Of like, you have nothing to lose by playing aggressive, but you have everything to gain. I don't think that's what zero-sum game means, but the opposite of a zero-sum game. So they nano profit in here. They get the kill on the leave. So this costs Soul. So look at this, right? It costs Soul 2 ultimates, the nano and the echo copy, to just get that ultimate. And then Yveltal just reses it up. And they grab to slow him down, and now all of a sudden they're in a good spot. While all this is happening, fucking Gaga and Jinmu are just monkeying around in the back line. And by playing aggressive, the back line can't actually play forward to really get this closeout on the front line, so the front line gets exposed. And then Soul finally makes it to the point. They're in a pretty good spot, and then Jinmu's just like, well, time to use my EMP. Just EMPs. Bada bing, bada boom, you're in a good spot. They Valk as well. So it's like, the way you want to use ultimates on the defense here is you want to use them as an insurance card, right? It's like, you play aggressive, and then if you ever get in trouble, you just use an ultimate. You don't ever want to use your ultimates too many ultimates to early engage. You just want to use one to engage to try and get a good fight. And then as soon as Soul starts over-ulting or responding with their ultimates, you just react with your own ultimates, and then you'll pretty much never lose the point unless someone pops off or something goes terribly wrong. Congrats on the regular casting spot, Beesbuzz. Thank you for the 100 bits. Yeah, everyone's internet has been sucking as of late, or like things have been going wrong, so I just end up getting thrown into casting. She's like, hey Custa, we need you to cast. I'm like, okay. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making it up. Oh, great stick by Fitz. Okay, that's the entry that they needed. So look at this. So what happens is they get a very early pick often, and Hunters didn't have a lot of ultimates built up to hold this fight. So now Soul are in a great spot. They had the Primal, they had the Diva Bomb, and this should probably be a cap. I don't think Leave knew where everyone was in this. They can get the pick on the creative, they're in a good spot. Oh, Animo's won! I love the Custa caster. Alright, Late Young gets the grab up, grabs the whole back line. This is a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. And 2 CP tracks again. As much as Soul did a great job of getting to the point, so Chengdu just uses their ults to slow down the fight. They eventually get their ults back up and come back on. So 2 CP. Can you cast a game in your weatherman costume and accent? Yeah, if you want me to get fired.
Score 0. Initiating match.
Might get a raise. Oh, maybe they'll sign me for next year as a caster with my weatherman mustache.
Ready for battle.
What did everyone think of the PSI thing? The skit. We had a lot of fun doing the skits. The skits have been really fun. We're just like upping production value every time we do them. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's honestly all the credit goes to Hex. Hex is literally just like the brain behind it all. We just do the acting. The best skits of the year, yeah. So we're just going up and up and up. What's the next theme? I let me give you a teaser. The theme of this weekend, actually I don't know if it's this weekend or it's gonna be not until the next thing, but is you guys will appreciate this. Hell's Kitchen. That is the theme. I won't give you guys anything else on that, but Hell's Kitchen is the next theme that we're going for. So
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
oh no. Johnny Ramsey. Scallops, what are you? An idiot sandwich? It's coming, guys. It's gonna come. Hard and fast. I miss Hex. You can trust me, if you look hard enough, you can see the elements of Hex everywhere. I actually remember talking of Hex, actually. Hex, he summarized this this map or this match here as well for me. He was like, here's what happened. Soul were playing great. They were doing good things. And then they challenged the Hunters to go Pharah. It really seems like a bad decision from the Seoul Dynasty to play Mei Reinhardt on Anubis. You're like asking Jinmu to go Pharah. It's like, do it, pussy, you wouldn't. And so Jinmu's like, okay, fuck you, I'll go Pharah. And so let's break down how this goes from here. And then when they challenged the Jinmu Pharah, they were like, you know where we should hang out? In this really small room. This can't go wrong for us at all, right? So let's just see how this goes.
Routing towards forward barrier.
Alright, then they split. I don't know where they're going. Creative went this way. The Reinhardt went this way. Animo dies. Fitz kills Leave. They're just... I guess they sort of took the platform. See how this works out for them. I guess Fitz is killing everyone, which is nice. And they really need... Like, if Fitz doesn't kill anyone, they're kind of in trouble. Because they're playing like a brawl comp. But if you think about it from, like, the Hunter's perspective... Like, from Soul's perspective, what do you run at? They kind of just need to run at Monk. So if Monk... And now Leaves on Widow as well. Like, they're just kind of hoping that they kill. Like, Lee's probably about to just pop off on the Widow. Soul's doing a pretty good job of living through this. I will give them that. Oh God, Prophet has more balls than I do. What are they gonna rush at? And that's the problem with playing the rush on the defense. I think they were expecting like a Wrecking Ball or like a Winston composition. Sorry, excuse me? Cause fuck you, Gaga, that's why. Gaga's just in ball form. Well, that's just mean. You know, that's just... Go back to Leave? Alright. Leave's hitting shots because he got old. Oh! Leave, I'm gonna need you to hit a shot soon. Oh! Oh! Oh my God, Leaf. Puss. Oh God, he's won! Oh, no, Leaf! I always talk so good about you. That's it, put Jimmy in. Come on. Jimmy would have hit a shot by now, you know? Jinmu uses the barrage. Is he about to get walled? Oh, fuck. Dude, literally every time Leave sees Prophet, Prophet just dinks him. Legitimately 100% of the time. Prophet is just built different. Zoning Widow. Leave isn't a Widow player. Leave is a Widow player. Don't. Leave is a very good Widow player. He might not have played it as much lately, but he is definitely a very, very, very good Widow player, historically. Alright, it looks like they're gonna break through eventually. I don't want to say Leave didn't really help that much. He probably would have been more valuable on the Tracer, but hey. This is why we have Jinmu Pharah. Leave can play everything, but Widow isn't his best hero. Yeah, well, yeah, Widow's not his best hero, but he has historically been one of the better Widows. Isn't the title wrong? Not really. I guess I should probably put... Give me 1 second. Chengdu vs. Seoul review. There you go. I would... Oh, yeah, dude. If Leave... I will put it this way. If Leave and Shy ever become a DPS duo... on a good team, I'm buying their jersey, and they are my new favorite team. Like, it's just no, it doesn't even matter what else happens. I'm really surprised Soul didn't switch. All right, Monk gets shattered, goes down. Yeah, I think we need to see a switch from the Chengdu Hunters here because they oh, nice wall. Welcome to Frowny Town. I don't think Pharah is very good. As much as Pharah feels like she's good, the problem with Pharah is that it's very hard to get a really clean cleanup. I assume Jinmu's about to switch as well. What are you going, Hanzo? Hanzo? Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. Switch over to the regular composition. It's going to be how are they going to get a value dive because obviously Seoul has a massive ultimate advantage. Shy and Krong to Chengdu, yeah. Like, if they could just consolidate, like, all of the best players. Like, honestly, even if it's just Shy who goes to... If Shy just came to the Hunters and they just had... Imagine Jinmu leave Shy as a DP... Oh, just the thought of that. Imagine leave Jinmu Shy. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. And then, yeah, you can bring Legion. Bring Legion to play instead of Late Young. Yeah. Jimmy? Good hack. Oh, Gaga gets frozen out of his mind.
Boosters engaged. Custa on. Routing power to forward shield.
Alright, well, Gaga and Frowny Town. Lost mines, so that's like one of their few ultimates. They have 2 minutes left. They gotta be careful because they really need to start charging things up. Jinmu's like literally AFKing, invisible in the thing. What do you think about Yveltal coming to starter support? I think it's fine. I think his Brig and his Mercy have been pretty solid. I'm not 100% sure on his Brig, but his Mercy's always been very good, so. Okay, Gaga just needs healing. They gotta run. Oh! This could be really bad for Seoul. I think they're going to need to use the beat here. Yeah, there it is. Diva Bomb. It's a lot of ults going down. Alright, if Yveltal gets to this rally and then Jinmu gets this EMP, that's the win condition right here. Because they don't... Seoul kind of used everything to get through this. Marvel should be able to hit a pretty free shatter though. As I say that. Late Young gets fits. Leave goes down in that shatter. I think you just reset here if you're... Oh, nice. Nice catch. Eileen is pretty good, yeah. But I think Leave is better than Eileen. And they play... Leave and Eileen are very similar players.
60 seconds remaining.
That's not a fair comparison. Yeah, but like my point is that like if you have Leave, Jinmu, Shy, you don't need Eileen. Like I don't think Eileen solves any problems or any missing pieces. So they just engage with the rally. How does Prophet die before anything happens? Is that just an EMP? Hits the Mei and hits the Diva. That's actually a pretty good EMP. Unfortunately, it didn't hit Marvel. Is the High Noon gonna get anything? Nah. Yeah, they're in trouble. They're about to get overrun. Just rally, mines. Yeah, great play by the Chengdu Hunters. That was great. Like, they didn't overult anywhere. They just forced out Seoul's ultimates. Like, I said they only have 2 minutes left, but they used every single bit of those 2 minutes to wait for that individual team fight, right? And I think Seoul kind of just got caught on this Mei. Like, Prophet held these Mei ults for so long. The Chengdu takes them out. Alright, let's go. Under the Icon Doll. I don't know, is Pharah played here? This is a pretty good Pharah map.
Ready for...
How do you feel about Marvel or stand 1 to Florida? I think that's a stretch. I think Boston's gonna stay with stand 1, and I don't see Marvel traveling to Florida. Maybe in off season, right?
Incoming in.
This upcoming off season, I think we'll see a lot of moves and stuff like that. I bet Private held out. Yeah, well, no, he got it like he held it for the whole first like thing until like they walked down that corridor, and then he charged another one up really fast. Like I I guess I'm not saying he held it. I think he held on Mei for too long. Like, he dropped his Mei out for that corridor, and then he just charged up another one to the point that he didn't want to switch again, but I don't think Mei was ever going to win him that fight.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Stan one's been improving me, impressing me as of late. All right, we got the Jinmu Pharah again. See how this goes. Dreamer to Florida? Yeah, Dreamer to Florida is a good shout. We don't really know what the subbing strategy of the Houston Outlaws is going to be, as if they're just going to keep sticking to Chengdu. They seem to be moving away from subbing a lot, so maybe Dreamer will get a whole lot less play and they'll commit to Chengdu. Gaga gets caught. Oh, nice hack on a Jinmu. Yeah, he's dead. Is Yveltal alive? Nice play by Yveltal. Best NA DPS trio? Atlanta? Probably. I think it's between the San Francisco Shock, the Glads, and Atlanta. And I think you can make arguments for and against a lot of different ones, but I think it's Atlanta. The Shock have been underperforming. Washington, yeah, I guess Washington's also really good, but they've been underperforming for a long time. They're all very good, right? There's no wrong answer. All right, Nano. Oh, that was not great. As soon as he barraged, Marvel's like, welcome to hell. But that should give them enough space to turn everything else around.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
So weird to be in a place where you say Shock underperformed. They just have been. Like, you just have to be realistic. Like, even Arns on the hit scan has been... I don't think Arns has performed well since he's come back. Obviously, we haven't really had a hit scan meta since then, so he's kind of been getting forced in, but... Yeah, Arns hasn't been playing very well.
Thanks for the assist.
Alright. So this is weird. So once again, we have Seoul playing the Brawl against the Hunters playing the Pharah. Oh, leave. No, no, no. What happened? Just uncloaked directly in front of Prophet. That was kind of unlucky that Prophet like turned around at that exact moment, but yeah. Get on. Is Yveltal gonna Valk? He might have to Valk here. The fact that they're able to stay alive for this long is kind of ridiculous. Yeah, Yveltal did. I kind of think Yveltal should have Valked. I think the Valking might have been the right play because his team's on card, and if they can just live, it would have been a gamble. Like if they just die, like if Jinmu dies as he Valks, but he was really low. Yeah, but I'm saying he should have Valked earlier. Like they knew that they were going to get cornered and pressured away. Like when the Diva was here, Yveltal was half health. He's never going to live unless he uses the Valk because the Diva's just going to keep breaking his regen, and then he's just going to fly at him on cooldown. Where's Monk? Fucking in Narnia. Like he's probably, yeah, he's always going to be playing really far away because he doesn't want to get run at. Jinmu gets absolutely wombo comboed. I actually love the way that Jinmu uses Barrage most of the time. Like, he just uses it on cooldown, but he doesn't hard commit to it usually. He uses it as like in a place he can be rezzed or just get 1 or 2 picks.
Thanks for the assist.
He's willing to trade, yeah. He plays like he understands. Oh, Prophet. And Chengdu just playing the Pharah so well here. Just being oppressive, hold the doors, make it impossible for Seoul to walk out. Random as fuck fire strike just through the window. Oh, wow. And you can just see how much the Seoul Dynasty is struggling to get out of this door. I really don't like the brawl. Oh, nice. He's not going to be able to get run at. I don't really like the brawl decision here by the Seoul Dynasty. As I said, it feels like they're challenging the Hunters to play their best composition. You wouldn't play Pharah, pussy. It's like, okay, we will. And they're like, ah, shit. Like, Jinmu's just playing the game for free. They've also got, like, Prophet on hit scan and Fitz on Tracer. Like, as I said, they're fine on both of those heroes, and that's just the flexibility of Fitz and Prophet, but it's by no means their best. Okay, they're going to go to the Reap McCree May. And the Hunters are going to stay Pharah. Alright. Hello, you Lei Young? Fat Finger, I think he forgot to press shift before he pressed Q. I think he pressed Q before shift. I think that's probably what happened. Oh! Was that on like up speed? That all happened so fast. He's gonna switch to Xayah? Nah, not really, not yet at least. The fucking walk of shame back to base. Alright, what are they gonna go? Winston Xayah then? Hanzo, Tracer, Wrecking Ball, Sombra, Tracer. Okay. We'll see how this does. It feels like Gaga's supposed to be Winston, but is staying Wrecking Ball for the mines. See how this works. Marvel should have the world's freest shadow, and Prophet's actually going to switch to the Tor, seeing this composition, which I actually really like. Not great. Animo beats. Counteracts the mines from Gaga. Oh, Lei Young's about to do a lot of damage. Dude, Lei Young is building a grab real quick right now. Oh, keep him alive! Oh, he got booped. Did he not have personal? He's... no personal. Dude, Marvel's just pinning on cooldown. Alright, let's see if Gaga's gonna switch here. Oh, I guess Gaga has mines again. Is he gonna switch still? No, he's gonna stay. So they're gonna play the Wrecking Ball Zen now. What happened to Gesture? Gesture's really their Winston player. And they're not planning on playing any Winston, so. Oh, that was quite bad by Leaf. He just took too much damage. Oh, they're gonna EMP mines anyway. That's gonna be a good set of mines. That's gonna be a problem. Yeah, there we go. Rally as well. It doesn't get anything because of Great Bubble by Lei Young. And they're gonna have grab as well to clean up whatever happens here. That was fucking dangerous by Lei Young. If Prophet got out of that, they needed that grab. Oh, you jumped into it as well. Lei Young does not fear throwing grabs. What does Xayah give here that D.Va doesn't? Xayah is it does a lot of damage. And the problem with this composition from the Hunters, especially against a very tanky, brawly composition like Souls, you need the damage. Lei Young becomes like the damage output, kind of like it functions in GOATs. And then you also have like the bubbles and stuff like that. Like you don't need the defense matrix, I don't think, here against this composition. So I think Lei Young just gives them some extra options, and the grab is a great win condition as well. Plus the way that Soul is playing, they're not playing a Lucio, they're not gonna run you down, they're not playing dive. The Xayah is actually pretty hard to punish.
Pass into the eyes.
Yo, thank you very much for the dance number. I appreciate the fresh sub. I'm glad you guys have been enjoying the art season. It's been a fun season. It has been. I can't wait until we get events again and we start, you know, being able to travel and do all that kind of stuff, but it's been fun nonetheless. Would a team ever pick up a player just so that nobody else plays them, even if they don't play them themselves? There's been instances which kind of come off that way, but not really. No one's spending a minimum of 50 grand just so someone else doesn't have the competitive advantage.
Ready for battle.
Custa thinking he's gonna travel. Don't make me sad. We'll be able to travel sometimes, that's the thing. Develop? No, I don't think develop is...
Wobble, motherfucker.
Like, and that's it. Like, do you think Shanghai Dragons signed develop so that no one else can have them? I don't think so. Like, my guess is that they want to integrate him somehow, but it also doesn't really make sense. But as we always talk about, Shanghai Dragons just have fuck you money that it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't know why they signed develop. They haven't shown a reason why they did either. We'll see. If develop was a top prospect, yeah. But are Dragons actually going to try and utilize him? Maybe. I doubt. Here's the thing. I doubt that a team is going to sign a player and then just make their lives miserable by not ever playing them. I hope the maybe the Shanghai Dragons sign develop so that they can trade him later on. We don't know. I don't really understand what's going on there, but I hope that Shanghai Dragons play him or give him an opportunity. Oh, Prophet just dunked on Jinmu. I hope that they play him in a way that he's actually going to get value, because we've seen a lot of people's careers end because they never really get a play on stage, and they could have been given great opportunities on other teams. Trill, Tayo, I guess, like, who are you to some degree? It's happened a lot. It happened a lot in 2018 because everyone just wanted to get as big a rosters as they could. But yeah, Leave is a fucking menace. You just can't stop it. Leave is just built differently. Anytime you think something is losable, Leave finds a way. Oh, nice hit by TU. TU's had a pretty good game, honestly. Alright, Leave. I'm gonna need you to do a little bit more deadlifting here. Rough. Will we ever get Custa trying to play Valorant again? Nah, I don't like Valorant. Maybe, like, I'm never gonna say never, but I really tried to like Valorant when it first came out. It's just not my kind of game. It's too slow.
Pass into the iris.
Ugh, that's not a great transcendence by Monk. Kind of wasted that one. I guess it gives them an opportunity for Jinmu to get back. They're gonna have Grav, EMP. Custa CSGO kind of player. Even then, I would still enjoy playing Valorant the same way I play CSGO. It's fun, right? But playing it like enough. Those games, as soon as you stop playing them, you get drastically worse, and it's just like not fun to play when you get drastically worse. Marvel with a great grab. Oh, nice EMP as well. Nice grab EMP. That's expensive for them, but like they got Yveltal Rally still. It cost them 4 ultimates, but hey, they weren't going to hold otherwise. So great play by the Hunters there. How about Dead by Daylight? I play Dead by Daylight for fun every now and then. These high caliber games? Nah, I just like playing fast games like Overwatch, like Apex, like those kind of games, right? Alright, great play by the Hunters. They're holding pretty well. But Dynasty should have the Wrecking Ball Diva. I really question if Seoul would have been much better in this series if they just played Sombra. Like, if they played more Tracer Sombra, I feel like they would shut down the Hunters. But they're committing so much to this Fitz McCree, which isn't awful. I just think that they could get more value out of a Sombra. Where is this bomb? Oh, it's all the way. Yep. Oh, nice bubble by Late Young, saving Yveltal. Still gets some kill. He's still dead though. Late Young gets Fitz. Monk gets Profit. That is an important win. clean win. That's an important win. He's unkillable. He's unkillable. Anthony, thank you very much for the 55 months, by the way. Travel back home, maybe. I want to come back to. I want to come back to Canada soon. Ooh, ooh.
My ultimate is ready. Proceed. Ready for transcendence.
Kind of filthy from Monk. Now they have Transcendence and EMP, and we actually see Fitz switch over to the Sombra at the last second. I don't like this switch. If you're not going to play Sombra, they're not going to get an EMP.
30 seconds remaining.
I don't love it. Hacked mini? Yeah, any hacked pack for a Zen is just like the best thing ever because you can just play around it so much. Oh, great hack on the leave. Oh, they get the pulse onto Monk, but the Transcendence is going to be a good... Yeah, the Transcendence is fine. You'll take that. Oh my god, Leave's hacked again. Please let Leave play the game. Leave 6 Animo. Yeah, wow. Great full hold by Chengdu. I think the McCree really hurt them here. Like, I just think they couldn't play that aggressive style that they want to play with the Wrecking Ball compositions. Alright, on to Junkertown.
Ready for
Just Soul things, yeah. Soul are the best team in the world at looking good on some map and then just looking absolute papige on the next. Alright, let's see what we got here.
attackers.
I expect both teams to be playing this Wrecking Ball Widow comps.
Come on.
When are they going to get rid of Tracer? What do you mean, like, out of the game? Never. I think if you got rid of Tracer out of Overwatch, you would lose, like, 30% of the player base.
Hi. Hiya.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
They deleted Brig for, like, 18 months when they released Brig. Yeah, when they made Goats the only thing you could play. Support queues later? Unlikely. Maybe. I won't say never, but because I want to do 2 reviews today. I don't know how long the next review is going to take. For some reason, Chengdu went double shield. I don't hate the double shield here. I just think you're so reliant on your snipers winning the duels, right? And also, they don't have anyone to deal with Prophet, actually. Let's just watch Prophet, because I'm pretty sure Prophet's about to just pound. Because they don't have anyone to keep him in line. Someone has to hit a really good shot for Prophet to die. So Prophet's just going to be able to maneuver. Like, they don't have a Diva. They don't have a Wrecking Ball to apply pressure. Prophet's just trying to work out Junkertown jumps at this point. Leave already back on Tracer? Yeah, and now here's the problem, right? All of a sudden you have Leave switch off the Widow, and if Leave switches off the Widow, all of a sudden the composition starts falling apart. Now Jinmu's playing a solo Hanzo against the comp where Hanzo isn't that effective. Gaga and Late Young are playing with a very stagnant backline, so Leave is going to struggle to get any value playing the Tracer, but the rest of the team also can't do anything, so... If Prophet just marks Leave, he's in a better spot, right? Yeah, he just gets the orb and then he's like, okay, time to go. Yeah, he knows where Lee's coming from. And Leave has no backup doing this play as well. Like, it doesn't even matter what's happening in the rest of this map, right? Like, Everyone's going here. Leave is just going to sit here for... Fitz is just going to be here for free as well because all of a sudden they're forced... oh, surprised I missed. Because Prophet's just marking Leave, Leave can't stop Fitz. And now Fitz is sniping for free. So how... If you're the hunters, right? Like, what is your win condition? The win condition has to just be Jinmu killing everyone. That's a problem, right? He's now gonna have to recall away from that. Oh, they actually rally engage onto the back line and they actually catch it. That's a really good play. I don't know how they got away with this, but it's gonna work. Oh, save to you. Oh, that's a problem. That was a great transcendence by creative. Oh, he gets him punished though. God, armor's so good. The card is going backwards, by the way. Oh! Don't do it. Oh, don't do it to him. They finally get control. Like, they're like, hey, they made a great play. They used a lot of their ultimates to get space. They're actually Leaves in a good spot they're in. And then fucking Prophet ruins the hopes and dreams of the Chengdu hunters.
60 seconds remaining.
I need healing.
Woo! And Jinmu hasn't got a pick. And now all of a sudden they're playing Tracer Sombra with double shield. They need... If hunters are going to switch, they need to do a switch across the board. They can't half switch. Half of them are playing dive now, half of them aren't. Leave is playing a Tracer where he has no follow-up, and you can see how easily he's just being shut down. So now all of a sudden Monk switched to the Zen. Now they're playing the Zen Brig, but Gaga's on Orisa trying to play this thing, so they don't have the Wrecking Ball to give them that space.
30 seconds remaining.
We hold them here.
Oh god, that was dangerous by Yveltal. If that was a headshot, I think he dies.
No one can hide from my
Look
sight.
at the hunters are just lost.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh my god, Jim.
Cease your resistance. 10 seconds
The greatest player in Overwatch League history, ladies and gentlemen. The best of the best. Tragic. Ah, nice. Alright, they're finally on the... Oh, Lei Young went to the Wrecking Ball. I didn't even notice that. I actually don't hate that. Keep Gaga with the bongo. Leave gets... Are they gonna cap this? Let's have a look. Oh, it's close. Oh! I guess it was over anyway.
complete.
Yveltal just got the rally. Full hold. Big holds.
Round 1 complete.
Do you think that the Dragons signed players like Molly and Develop because there's possibility that some players on team could retire? As I said before, I think the only reason they signed them is because they could. Like, if you can, why not? Why not sign superstar backups? I don't think it's good for the players who are the backups' careers. I don't think it's good investment, but they can. So why not? Why are there so many holds in these qualifiers? I think the reason there are so many holds in these qualifiers is a testament to how much of an advantage it is that you get to pick the map after you lose. You can always pick maps which benefit your style and the way that you want to play the game. So I think there's a lot of teams that have very good maps and very bad maps as well. Yeah, I think they signed Who Are You for Genji. I agree. But why sign Molly? They didn't need Molly. Like, maybe Molly would have been better than Izayaki, but at that point, they were never going to sub them out. And I talked about this a lot in the past about how I hope that when, in the future of Overwatch League, in Overwatch 2, that they have dramatically reduced roster sizes. I would love for them, in 5v5 of Overwatch 2, I hope that Overwatch League has 6-man rosters. And that every team is forced to have an academy team that they can bounce their players back and forth from. I think that is the best thing for the game, for the players, for the teams, for everybody in the long run. The only bad people it is for is probably Blizzard because they have to run 2 parallel leagues of the academy and the Overwatch League.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Because I think these teams with like 11 subs, 12 subs, it's literally just ruining players' careers who are sitting on the bench, like the Spark. Takoyaki signed to the Hongzhou Spark and then just left halfway through the season because he's like, why the fuck am I here? I'm never going to play over Gushue. And that's happened to so many different players in the league. Coldest is another great example. Yeah. So Gaga kind of just like turbo feeds. The Seoul Dynasty are going to play a very defensive comp. I kind of like this. Especially if the Hunters aren't going to play a Widow. They're kind of forcing, the Hunters are going to be forced to dive on the Dynasty. They only need to get one really good counter dive, right? Creative gets dumped. That's a great... I don't really like... Animo needs to be with Creative here. Like, I don't know why Animo's with the tanks. Because what happens is he gets low and he just doesn't have anyone to help him. And that just initiates it. That's such a good dive by the Hunters. And that's why I am high on the Hunters. It's like, their coordination in the dive with the Tracer Sombra Wrecking Ball is probably second best to the Shanghai Dragons. But it is very, very good. And I think Gainsart puts up a really important point as well. Team 4, which is the people that make Overwatch, and the Overwatch League are 2 separate entities and that kind of thing. Obviously, they collaborate, they work together to some degree, but they aren't, and they all want the success of Overwatch, but they aren't. Team 4 makes decisions that is good for Team 4, and Overwatch League makes decisions that are good for Overwatch League. They don't always make decisions that are good for each other, right? And that is something that needs to be kept in mind. Some things that get implemented in the game aren't great for the competitive, right? It's not... Overwatch isn't built to be a primarily competitive game. It is a public game. It is a casual game. And that is... You need to keep that in mind whenever these things are happening, right? So Overwatch 2 isn't built to make the Overwatch League better. There's the EMP. There's the... I think that Jinmu's EMPs are too far back. I think he could have easily been up here or something. He's so afraid of getting cancelled that I think that actually hurts his EMPs a lot. Like, they get an EMP, they get the mines, they get the pulse bomb, they use everything, and they just don't really get a whole lot for it. Oh, wow, that's a great boot of Marvel into there. So they get the win anyway, but that was an expensive fight. Quick pause. Custa, as a former pro, how do you feel about teabagging? I think most competitive players are competitive enough to just brush it off. Yeah, like literally, teabagging is just like shit talking in traditional sports or that kind of stuff. It is used, and Jake uses this more than anyone else, is you use it to tilt your opponents. Because some people get really upset when they get teabagged. I will tell you what, when Jake teabagged me in 2018, I know he's just trying to get in my head. He's just trying to tilt me. Like, it's just like slagging. It's just like talking shit. It's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. It's fine. Like, they didn't do anything. It's just teabagging. Like, if you're getting tilted by someone teabagging you, it's like, well, I don't know what you can't let those kind of things get to you. And people and the community that gets upset about teabagging, I'm sorry. You're just being soft. You are. We're the highest level of competition. Sportsmanship, you know what happens at the highest level? Sportsmanship goes out of the window a lot because people will do anything they can to get a competitive advantage within the rules, and teabagging isn't out of the rules. Just fucking do it. Why not? Any ex-pros who are susceptible to be teabagged? Taimu was someone that I think a lot of people knew that they could get in his head. Taimu's a very emotional player. Great player, but he's very emotional. And if you can You teabag him, you make him feel like he's getting embarrassed, like he'll get upset about it. Like I remember that kind of stuff, right? There's a lot of players, but there's a lot of players that it would get affected. Animo, what are you doing? Holy shit, Animo almost died. Monk gets caught though.
Cease your resistance.
Nerf this.
A lot of sportsmanship only said by people, yeah, like sports, like in sports, there's always that guy, like you go watch any competitive sports, there's always that guy on every team that you ever watch, there's always that guy whose job there is to just be an asshole. They're just an asshole. And they know that they can get inside the other team's heads and they can get inside players' heads and that kind of stuff. The same thing happens in Overwatch, right? And it's all sportsmanship. Like, generally, the people that do that, they're the people that will shake your hand. Like, that's something that I learned late in my, like, sports career is talk a lot of shit. Push people around. As long as you shake hands at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care what someone does. Like, in Overwatch, in any sport I've ever played, I don't care what someone does in the game. As long as they shake my hand at the end of it, I don't give a shit. That's sportsmanship.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1.
Chris Paul getting into Beverly's head. Fucking Crowder. He's one of those guys. He's a bruiser, man. He's there to fucking be an asshole. He's there to make it hard for the superstars to play their game, right? Like. Alright, what do we got? We got the same thing. Very similar start. Actually interesting that Late Young's playing more Xayah. I don't love it, but here we are. Especially because he might be going up against a hit scan. The Xayah is really bad against the hit scan. Like, you really want to be D.Va if they're going to play that. I'm curious to see if he's going to switch. But they're really relying that Fitz is going to do a lot of work here.
The objective is now active.
Smoke him out of there.
Bing, bang, boom. Oh, leave. Fitz, you think you can do damage? Let me introduce Leave.
You picked the wrong fight.
Wobble, wobble, motherfucker.
I stick up.
I don't know if he was aiming at Leave. I don't think he was. That's just unlucky. He was aiming at Jinmu.
You picked the
Yo, Comrade Tim, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Get down, Mr. President. What do you mean, leaves the president? Would you rather have Jinmu's EMPs or lips? I'd rather just have good EMPs. Jinmu's EMPs aren't bad, right? They could get more value potentially. But he has had a couple cancelled, so I can understand why he is playing passive. Alright, so on the back of Fitz, they actually get that win. Is Fitz an option for MVP? No. Fitz has a lot of great games and he is one of the better DPS, but I don't think he, like, obviously he has a couple of good rounds and I know that, like, maps and this is one of them, but I don't think so. Yeah. I wouldn't consider him for MVP. Leaves an option for MVP, but he really, and we had this conversation, so I'm going to go on another tangent here. I'm sorry, guys. I think Leave has the same issue when we were talking about on the broadcast when we talked about Shy being Rookie of the Year. I personally believe that part of things that make people MVPs, Rookie of the Years, all those kind of things is how they perform in high pressure situations, in the playoffs, and all that kind of stuff. And I really struggle to put players in that contention until they have had great performances in the playoffs. And I don't think I've seen that from Leave yet. Right? I haven't seen him have those big wins against the best teams in the world all the time consistently, right? And that's what makes Prophet these MVPs, Jonax, Sinatra, Fleta, right? That is, That's what I personally believe. So until I see Leave or Shy have those level of performances on the big stages against the best teams in the world, I really struggle to give them that thing. And that's why, in my opinion, Fearless is the leading one. He has been dominant when the teams needed him in the pressure situations. He's always clutch. Mag for Rookie of the Year, he can, but he needs to have a great countdown cup, right? And he's going to be dependent on his team to be able to enable him to do that as well. Oh, that was clean. Just look at how much pressure he has on him, and he still just does so much work.
I am on fire.
I need healing.
What do people mean by Seoul is so Seoul? Is they are a team that has some of the highest highs, but some of the lowest lows. Like, somehow they go from being a world-class team to, like, bots in the span of, like, a week. They're just very inconsistent. Alright, EMP hits the back line. They got the follow-up from... That's good play by the Chengdu Hunters, getting that space. But fucking... Fitz is just... Every time Hunters get a pick, they need... Late Young needs to do a better job of punishing Fitz. Fitz is just playing the game for free right now. Oh, good kills by Late Young, though. No! Oh! There's no way they win this team fight off of that, right? He's gonna get another bob. How does he always seem to have so much ammo? I feel like he's just never reloading. He's just always shooting. His reloading timings are fucking sick. Bob, do it. Just win.
Bob, do something.
I love where he put the bob on that there as well. EMP only hits Marvel, but he dies. Fitz is insane. Seoul had no right to win that round. Oh god, he's on Sombra. Yeah, he's on Sim. Alright, so Seoul's gonna play the Brawl. Jinmu's gonna go Pharah. I think I know how this one goes. Yeah, I think... I will be honest. Prophet and Fitz are not the problem with the Seoul Dynasty. What do you guys think is the biggest issue? Do you just think it's like both the tanks and the supports? Do you think it's the tank line? Do you think it's the support line? Coaching? I think coaching can't be understated as well. I think it's a bit of everything. I actually don't think the support line is really bad. I don't think the tank line is really bad. I think it's a combination of the tank line, the support line, and the coaching. Really just, I think really struggles. Animo to you and coaching, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how Seoul Dynasty adjusts. I wonder what... You know what the real question is how long is Prophet... When is Prophet's contract up with the Seoul Dynasty? Is he a free agent after this year? I'd love to see Prophet go somewhere else. I also, you know, I love the Prophet gesture train, right? But, you know, I think it's time to let that one go. You know? You had a good run. But I think it's time to move on. Prophet to shock. Prophet to shock would be nutty. But I actually like Nero. Like, I don't think Nero's the issue. I guess it'll be interesting to see what the San Francisco Shock do. Also, we're just watching Jinmu. Fuck yeah. It'll be interesting to see what the San Francisco Shock do if they really do fall very short, if there's going to be a massive overhaul in the roster. Profit to Shanghai. I fucking hope not.
Thanks for the assist.
Oh, great. The great conk. Oh, he's going to do it. He's going to do it, isn't he? Ah! And he's going to get res. Just... Oh, never mind. You both died. Alright, well, that happened. Profit to Philly. Profit to Philly could be interesting, actually. Profit to Philly would be really interesting. If you had like a... I don't know what they would do with their DPS, but yeah. Profit to Fuel. No, I think it'd be hard to play Profit, Doha, and Sparkle. Like, no one's really a big hit scan player on that in those three. To Justice. Maybe Profit to Justice. That could work. We'll see, we'll see. As I said, time will tell. Yeah, get him, Yveltal. Alright, so Monk gets caught in the back though. Okay, never mind. Monk didn't get caught in the back line. Just, yeah, I don't like Soul's Brawl. Like, once again, Profit's now on Tracer. They're not going to point. If you're not going to go to the point, then you shouldn't be playing this composition. They're playing Brawl and just trying to walk out of a choke against the Pharah. Like, they need... The only reason you ever play the Brawl here, especially against this Wrecking Ball comp, is if you're going to go to the point. They need to stay the sim. They need to TP to point. Why not play Ash here? They just need to not play this comp. So coaching diff, I think Soul's always had an issue with coaching. I don't like speaking to coaching. Wow, nice bomb. EMP bomb. This has just been cleaned by the Hunters. I don't like talking to coaching. I've never talked to any of the Seoul Dynasty coaches. I don't know how they coach. I don't know how they coach. I don't know, like, anything about their coaching. So it seems like there's coaching issues. Seoul has always, like, had a lot of talent, but never been able to thing. So there's probably a coaching issue there. But I don't know how to speak to that. I have no idea. Fitz is trying to win this game. Then they're going to play double shield. Like, Seoul, I just think, have shot themselves in the foot. Like, maybe this composition will work, but please don't tell me Fitz is going to play Symmetra. Like, Fitz is the... Okay, he went McCree. Okay, at least. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just a bad map for Seoul. Like, this is a kind of a bad map for their setup. Like, what else are they going to play? The Wrecking Ball? I feel like if they mirror the Wrecking Ball against the Chengdu Hunters, it might be bad for them. But I think it's once again what we said earlier is they're just challenging Jinmu's Pharah. It's this series isn't even... Everyone else doesn't even matter anymore, right? It's literally who's going to win, Fitz versus Jinmu. Alright, Fitz gets Gaga. Alright. Hunters just didn't get a pick. The defensive style of Seoul might actually prevail here at times. Why can't Seoul run Ball against this? You don't want to run Seoul because they don't want to run this Wrecking Ball because the Hunters are good at it, right? This is Hunters' bread and butter, Wrecking Ball, Sombra comp. And generally where they've played the mirror, Chengdu Hunters have gotten an advantage, right? So Seoul doesn't want to end up in a mirror, so they're just trying to avoid that. Oh, that was unfortunate. He missed the timing. Oh. Nice play by Jinmu. Gets one, trades back. Yveltal's in trouble as well. How do you do that? How do you get this super jump? That was a nice super jump. That was a very nice... Because he's latched. Because he's latched, he can actually use the GA. And then he gets a super jump off on the outside through a wall. That's a nice super jump by Yveltal. You can't hit those. I can't. No, I can't. That was clean. And he's alive. Alright. Old Custa can't do that. Super jumping was by no means anywhere near as much of a thing when I was a player. Like, I knew how to do it, but we didn't use it anywhere near as much. No one really used the super jump back then. It really became popular in 2019 going into 2020. Jinmu gets profit. I don't know if I like Fitz being over there. I feel like Fitz just like opened his team up to get bodied by the EMP. Oh, wow, I'm surprised no one died to that. Did Ding retire? Yeah. Nisha would have got the kill on the Sig. Yeah, Nisha wouldn't have run. Like a bitch.
Wobble, wobble, motherfucker.
He would have fought valiantly. Ballad Dragon, thank you very much for the 4 months.
I will not waste this opportunity.
Shouldn't Jinmu and Yveltal focus more? If you spend too much time focusing on the Pharah Mercy, the rest of the team runs over you. It's a very delicate balance of trying to find space and like do what you do, right? That's actually a really important hack onto the Mega. And then what I love about the way Jinmu plays that, right, is he goes in, he barrages and just instantly, like, he doesn't care, he just goes for it. Is he gonna die? No, he's good. Woo! Oh, good kill by Creative. This is an absolute brawl. Oh, nice res by Yveltal, and he's gonna live. Yveltal live. What will be the next VOD review? I'm gonna let you guys vote on it. What have you already watched? This is my first VOD review for the weekend. Oh, they're getting a lot of pressure on the Prophet. Force the recall. Is Prophet dead? Oh, there's another. Dude, every pack is hacked. Prophet's just trying to live. Oh, it doesn't hit the EMP. The high noon. Good mines. Those mines are such a problem. Oh, later Fitz. Oh, now they're gonna have to run into a. They're gonna have to walk into a barrage.
I will not waste this opportunity. Mercy and the high chance. You're powered up. Justice reigns from above. Heroes never die.
Oh, that was kind of poorly done by Jinmu. Fortunately, Yveltal's a god and just instantly reses him. Oh, gets the kill. Damn! And Chengdu that was close. Whoo! Can Diva Matrix eat Nano? No. Damn! That was a really close series. You got to give a lot of props to Chengdu for playing their style, right? I actually really like the way that Chengdu is playing. They're playing this Wrecking Ball Tracer Sombra comp, but anywhere in which they think they can play the Pharah against some team trying to play the Shields or the Rhine, they do it. And that's a massive advantage and could be a big thing for them moving forward, going into like the... going up against the Western teams, right? Because we know they like to play Shields from time to time, so they can definitely use that as a trap card. I think Chengdu looks pretty good. Seoul... kind of challenging Chengdu a little bit too much for my liking to play the Pharah, and Jinmu just took over some of the games. So, interesting play by the Hunters. Love to see it. They progress to the Summer Showdown playoffs, so excited for them. Seoul, unfortunately, falls short a little bit. I hope you guys found it interesting. It was very long review. I went on a million different tangents. I apologize for that, but hopefully you found those tangents interesting. Much love. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.